No, I think it was actually on New Year's Day. I'm not sure we have our date right on that. The president of Egypt made a remarkable statement about Islam and terror. Listen to this.
It's inconceivable that the thinking that we hold most sacred should cause the entire Islamic world to be a source of anxiety, danger, killing, and destruction for the rest of the world. Impossible. That thinking, ideas that we have sacralized over the years, is antagonizing the entire world. It's antagonizing the entire world. Is it possible that 1.6 billion Muslims should want to kill the rest of the world's inhabitants? That is 7 billion, so that they themselves may live? Impossible. I say and repeat again that we are in need of a religious revolution. You, imams, are responsible before Allah. The entire world is waiting for your next move because this Islamic world is being torn, it is being destroyed, it is being lost, and it is being lost by our own hands.
Extraordinary. Joining me now, Ann Coulter, best-selling author and conservative commentator. That is shocking. That is shocking. I mean, the nerve it took for him to stand up there and speak to a bunch of imams and talk about how it's inconceivable. It's inconceivable that the thinking most sacred to us should cause the entire Islamic world to be a source of anxiety, danger, killing, and destruction for the rest of the world. This thinking is antagonizing the entire world.
Right. And of all the Muslim leaders in the world, this is the one that Obama does not like.
And
he's attacked him because he took out, Sisi took out the Muslim Brotherhood.
Right.
That's why when Obama withdrew, millions, maybe it was $1 billion in aid we were giving Egypt. When they're standing up to terrorist fanatics who had been encouraged by the Obama administration.
Isn't this exactly what we need world leaders, especially in Muslim nations, to be doing? And yet, I mean, the Western media didn't cover it because it happened on New Year's Day.
Right.
But wouldn't it be helpful if our president, if Hollande, if other Western leaders came out and said, what that guy said, this is the way?
Yes, no, and it isn't that. I've heard a lot of people say that, usually the Obama administration won't call any Islamic terrorism Islamic, but of course they had to here because it was so obvious. No, that isn't why Obama admitted it was Islamic terrorism. The socialist president of France admitted it.
But he didn't admit it, Ann.
No, you're right.
He said it was terrorism, but he wouldn't say it was Islamic terrorism.
He did have that part I love so much where we say it has nothing to do with the religion, which I haven't heard that 8 billion times already. I needed to hear it 8 billion plus one.
But here's the head of let me just set it up, because when he remarked on this, President Obama the other day, he refused to call it Islamic terrorism, just terrorism, he said. And then he commented more today, and once again, he said nothing about Islamic radicalization, Islamic terrorism, radical Islam, nothing. And in fact, as the viewers know, back in 2010, his administration banned the term jihad, banned the term Islamic extremism from the central document outlining our national security strategy. They want to pretend that does not exist, apparently.
Yes, and keep bringing more and more jihadists in. Some of these Somali pirates, we bring them in to be tried, and then either they serve their time and then immediately ask for asylum, or they get acquitted, or there's not enough evidence and they ask for asylum. No, let's just keep bringing more and more of the third world here. I think that's a policy that we might want to reconsider, and France should definitely think about it. I mean, they're very good at responding to this by running onto the street and holding a candle, but they need to move to the next step. Why does this happen? Well, about 10% of their population is Muslim. Maybe it would be better if they had immigrants that had a more similar background and who didn't respond to cartoons they don't like by shooting people. I think that's the next step to consider, but we can't consider.
How do you get there? I mean, one wonders why these groups want to live in France. They don't want to assimilate. They don't want to
live in Muslim countries. And yet they want to change the non-Muslim countries they move to Muslim countries.
So how do you figure that out? When you get the visa application, how do you figure out whether somebody wants to be a part of your culture or does not?
Well, it may be a small minority, as the president and the president of France keep reminding us this is not the majority of Muslims, yet and still it's enough of them that maybe you take a little pause in Muslim immigration for a while. Right now, it is not true, as another politically correct conventional wisdom I've been hearing over and over again on TV as well. Our Muslims are different. We get a different brand, and we're so much better at assimilating. I'm sorry, have you been to the United States of America? We assimilate no one. The difference is we have a population that is less than 1% Muslim. It's almost 10% in France. Do not act like Muslims have not been continuing to commit terrorist attacks since 9/11. I mean, right here in Times Square, the Boston Marathon, the Fort Hood, 2 attacks there. There have been about 60 attacks since 9/11. So, yeah, okay, that's not the majority of them, but it's more than the terrorism we're getting from, say, British immigrants.
But what difference would it make if we started calling it what it is? You know what I mean? The label, does the label matter? If President Obama said what Sissy said, what difference would it make?
For one thing, he might not have withdrawn American funding from Sissy. There you have the good guy coming in, taking out the Muslim Brotherhood, and Obama's nose is out of joint. No, elevate the good ones. It also might make people reconsider mass immigration from the third world.
I think Charles Krauthammer, what he said was so poignant today about we are now entering the third phase of what feels like, and this is me, not him, a world war. I mean, it feels like a world war when you see these attacks day after day. And great to see you.
Great to see you.